And what's up, Chat Sports? My name is Doug McCain here for NBA Now. Today's topic, the Los Angeles Lakers, and who is going to be the head coach if Luke Walton is fired at the end of the year. We're going to see who you guys think should be the 27th head coach in franchise history. We have 10 names we have for you guys to think about. We want to know what you have to say. But before we get into that, go ahead, head over to Twitter. Follow me at Doug_McCain. That's at Doug_McCain. Everything Laker related is going to be over there. Links, news, rumors. If it's about the purple and gold, you'll find it at that Twitter handle. So go ahead, head over there and hit that follow button. So we're going to talk about some names in just a second. But before we do, I just want to say, Laker fans, I feel you out there. You sign LeBron James, the best player in the world. The least you can expect is a playoff appearance. That's not going to be the case. The Lakers will miss their 6th straight playoffs, and that hurts for Laker fans. You're going to see the trolls come out in force, especially when the playoffs come by, and it's going to hurt. But Laker fans, I have something for you guys. You need some ammo to go against these Laker haters. I got some numbers for you to throw at them. Lakers dominate pretty much every playoff category. First all-time in games played, 734. First all-time in playoff wins, 438. First all-time in playoff win percentage, 59%. First all-time in NBA Finals appearances at 31. And of course, they have 16 beautiful gold Larry O'Brien trophies. I know you're thinking, oh, but they're not first all-time in championships. Okay, I'd take the Lakers 16 titles over the Celtics 17 titles any day of the week. So, Laker fans, you're going to get back into the playoffs, and that's what today's about. Before any of these moves can be made, before a free agency signing, before anyone's drafted, before any trades, the Lakers have to figure out what they're going to do with their coaching situation, and that is what today is all about. But before the Lakers can replace Luke Walton, as of today, he's still the Lakers head coach, and he told Bill Oram of The Athletic that he fully expects to be the Lakers head coach next year. But we know that's not going to happen. You out there have the same chance, as do I, as does LeVar Ball. That's zero chance. Luke Walton is going to be replaced. And I look back at his career as a Laker, and I wouldn't call it a bust. It didn't work out. He had some bad luck. There were some unfortunate things, but ultimately he will be replaced. So if you remember, he filled in for Steve Kerr when he was out with the back problem, and he started out 24-0 as a head coach and would lead the Warriors to a 39-4 record. He was one of the hottest coaching candidates in the league, so you know he was going to get a job somewhere. But it just did not work out. And you even had people like Kobe Bryant. Kobe said, I used to call him the next Phil. He's an average player with a messed up back, and he's a hippie. So you had everyone excited about Luke Walton originally, but going into this year, I mean, last year was actually a success, I'd say. They didn't make the playoffs, but they showed a lot of improvement from the 26 wins in the first year, 35 the next year, and you had promising development from Ingram, Ball, and Kuzma. So going into this season, of course, you signed LeBron James, and Magic Johnson and Rob did not hire you. And you know, when there's a regime change, they want an extra feather in their cap. They want to hire their guy, and Luke was just never their guy. But this season, it got off to a slow start, and it just never worked out. But think about this. What could have been with Luke Walton? So by the time Christmas came around, this year's team was starting to gel. You know, they were only 2.5 games back from the top spot in the West after beating the Warriors on that Christmas Day matchup, 127-101. They improved their record to 20-14. Things were going well, but then LeBron slips. He hurts his groin, and then that injury bug just took its toll. I mean, it was more like an injury dragon. It just wiped out the entire roster, the entire core, really, in different parts of the season, and the Lakers were unable to recover, and that's just what it is. I mean, you know, a promising stat, in games where you had Ingram, Ball, and LeBron all in the lineup, the Lakers went 15-8. So if they stay together, there's no doubt they're going to be making the playoffs, but it just didn't happen. His record, 94-145, but I'm not going to dance on Luke's grave for much longer. Once a Laker, always a Laker. He's going to be a part of that Laker fam for life. I think he can be a decent coach in the right situation. I just hope it's never for the Los Angeles Lakers ever again, at least in the near future. So I want to know what you guys think. I want you guys to weigh in. Should Luke Walton be fired at season's end? Type fire for yes, type keep for no. So what do you guys think? Do you think if they run this back with Luke and people are healthy, that, you know, the results are differently? What do you guys think? So that's what we're going with Luke right now. Now we're going to get into the top 10. Now we're going to have some fun with this list. Now the top of this list, not necessarily realistic candidates, but something I want you guys to think about. So you got some super long shots, and then you got the realistic choices towards the bottom. So number 10, you got it. It's going to be Kobe Bean Bryant, the Black Mamba himself. So I know that sounds crazy, and I know that Kobe has really not expressed, wanting to, be in basketball professionally. But, Rob Pelinka, he said in his introductory press conference that Kobe Bryant was the North Star of the organization. And all I'm saying is this. Kobe Bryant has done everything outside of basketball, from being a best-selling author to being an Oscar winner for his short film. I mean, this guy has done it all, and I'm just saying, let's say Kobe Bryant, he's a crazy dude. He wakes up some morning and decides, hey, I want to be the coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. Don't kid yourself. Rob Pelinka is not just his former agent. He's one of his best friends. Jeannie Buss is a close friend. If he wanted that job, I'm not saying it's going to happen. It's not going to happen. But if he wanted it, I mean, he could bring that Mamba mentality. So, I'm not saying he's going to take this job, but I want to know what you guys think. Do you think that Kobe Bryant will ever coach in the NBA at any point in his career? So he's a big competitor. I think it's only a matter of time until he gets back in the NBA in some capacity. So we'll go from another Laker legend at number 10 at Kobe to a current Laker legend, or a Laker legend that's currently working for the organization in Magic Johnson. So number 9, let's go to the Magic Man, Magic Johnson. Now, is this one ridiculous? I mean, yes, but not as ridiculous as Kobe. So the thing about Magic is it's happened before, so it could happen again. So if you remember back in the 93-94 season, Magic stepped in and he was the head coach, and he got off to a really, really fast start. The Lakers went 5-0 before dropping 10 straight, and at the end of the season, Magic was done. So his, coaching career was less than magical, and it pretty much ended as quickly as the Magic Hour, his late night talk show. But this is a different situation because now, Magic has put everything on the line. He is all in with this franchise. He knows it's championship or bust. And he also knows that 93-94 team was not as stacked as this team possibly could be, because you got the best player in the game in LeBron James, and you also have Lonzo Ball, the point guard that you drafted, the point guard that you pointed up into the rafters and said, hey, I want to see your name up in these rafters. So if Magic said, hey, man, I can't get the guy that I want, so I'm just going to step in and I'm going to coach you. I'm going to be hands-on with Lonzo, and LeBron is definitely going to respect me. There's going to be a lot of buy-in with LeBron. And then also, who's his biggest rival? His biggest rival is Larry Bird, and Magic has beaten Larry Bird at everything. He won the title in Michigan State versus Indiana State. He won, 5 championships and more MVPs. The only thing Bird has on Magic is that Bird was a successful coach. You remember, he led that Pacer team to the finals. So who knows? I don't think it's going to happen personally, but it's just something to think about. Now, I think Magic has learned that the scrutiny of being involved with the Lakers is very intense. And for him to have to answer to the media on a daily basis, I don't see him taking that job. But there we go. You got Magic at number 9. At number 8, let's go to Coach K. We're going to go to Coach K, and maybe this is not the best time to try to promote Coach K as a Laker candidate, considering his Duke Blue Devils lost in the Elite 8. But let's get into it. So this one, first of all, the Lakers have a history of trying to get Coach K. If you remember, they tried to get Coach K back in the day, if you remember, do yourself a favor, Google Shaq trying to say Coach K. That thing is amazing. But with Coach K, he has ties to LeBron. You know, you have the Redeem team, you have the Team USA connections, and also, you know, you have someone like Coach K. He's already pretty much cemented himself as the best college coach of his generation. Can you imagine? Let's say the Warriors break up and the West is there for the taking. Can you imagine if Coach K were to step in there and win an NBA title? Hey, man, I'm just saying. Now, I don't think it's going to happen. And if you're a Laker fan, you got to question. If he can't even get Zion Williamson to the Final Four, what makes you think he can get LeBron to the championship, to the finals? So we got Coach K at number 8. And at number 7, we're going to go to Coach John Calipari. So the Kentucky coach who also lost in the Elite Eight. What do you guys think about Coach Cal? So Coach Cal, the news today is that he just got offered a lifetime contract with Kentucky. And, you know, he was linked to that UCLA job. UCLA reportedly offered him upwards of $8 to $9 million per season to bring him out to LA. So, you know, if, you know, talks got deep with him and UCLA, that he has his sights set on Los Angeles and that he's been considering coming out here for quite some time. So UCLA wasn't able to get him, but if the Lakers were to make that call, you have to believe that he would definitely listen. So the thing about Coach Cal, I know there's not a great track record of college coaches coming in and lighting it up in the NBA, but he did have at least one winning season with the New Jersey Nets in his time coaching there, and he led them to a 43-38 record, and he got smacked up by Jordan's Bulls. He got swept by the Bulls in the first round, but he at least made the playoffs. So his NBA career wasn't quite the disaster that Rick Pitino's was. And then also you got the added benefit of having him as a potential piece to lure in some of these great Kentucky players. So if you look at his time at Kentucky, 20 of his players, 20 of the Wildcats that he's coached have been lottery picks. And you have like some of the best players in the league, one by the name of Anthony Davis. So does him coming influence Anthony Davis's decision, and is that a reason to make the call? So we know that he's committed to Kentucky as of today, but if the Lakers are serious about Coach Cal, he's the name, and he's someone that has the ties to those Kentucky players. So you got Coach Cal at number 7. Now moving on to number 6, we have Doc Rivers. So Doc Rivers, he would be much higher on my list had he not come out recently and made that long-term commitment to Steve Ballmer and the Clippers. You know, to me, he's the perfect candidate. You know, he's won championships with Boston. He's played in elite, big-time markets that you have to face a certain amount of criticism when you're not winning. So he knows what that's all about, and he can handle himself with the media about as well as any coach in the NBA. You know that he's going to get LeBron's respect. He has that charisma, that personality that would make him a perfect headman for this current Laker team. But, you know, as when it came out that he was interested in the job, you know, Peter Vesey, he kind of sparked this whole rumor. He said that, you know, that Doc had done the groundwork to try to consider going to the Lakers, and that the Lakers had always been something that he's been enamored with, and he's always been fascinated about the idea of coaching the Lakers. But then the very next day, you have Michael Wilbon on PTI. He's saying that, hey, you know, Doc did his homework, and he found out that, you know, quote, LeBron doesn't want to be coached. So after that was reported, the rumors started to fizzle out, and then the very next day he comes out, and then, you know, Ballmer and him strike a huge deal, and he's reportedly getting paid $11 million per year with the Clippers. Now, of course, things change all the time, and I don't think Doc Rivers is going to come to the Lakers, but let's just say that he gets word that Kawhi isn't going to go to the Clippers and they are not going to land or lure in a key free agent. Does that change his approach? Does he reconsider joining the Lakers? So that's something to think about. I do think Doc would be a great fit. The buy-in would be there. He has the personality. He can deal with the ebbs and flows, the ups and downs of an NBA season better than any NBA coach in the league, in my opinion. But I do see him staying with the Clippers. less pressure. You still get to live in LA. Your owner has pretty much about as much money than every owner in the league combined. So if he wants to break out that checkbook and break you off some more dough, he's going to do that. So I still got him at number 6. Number 5, this is the highest college coach on the list, and it's going to be Tom Izzo. So Tom Izzo, unlike Krzyzewski, unlike Calipari, he was able to take his Spartans, and he took that Sparty party to the Final Four, and he's the one who beat Coach K. So his stock is going to be high. And let's just talk about the LeBron connection. So in the month before LeBron left Cleveland the first time around, the Cleveland Cavaliers, they flirted with Izzo, and they even had a meeting with Tom Izzo about linking up with LeBron as a way to keep him in Cleveland. So that tells me that LeBron and Coach Izzo have an established relationship, and that LeBron is also it's someone that he looks at that he could trust and they could partner with. But the more layered connection to me, of course, is the obvious one. It's Tom Izzo, it's Magic Johnson. You saw Magic Johnson. You saw 6'9", the Magic Man, in the stands cheering on his Spartans. And let's just say, hey man, let's say they cap off this run this weekend and the Spartans are able to win that championship. That gives him 2 titles. And you never know. He might want to just link up with LeBron, with Magic Johnson, and ride that momentum into the NBA. The Laker job does not come around very often. And if you have someone like Magic Johnson vouching for you and they will bring you in, it's something that you're going to want to think about if you're Tom Izzo. So my question to you guys, I want you guys to weigh in on this one. If Tom Izzo got an opportunity to coach in the NBA, do you guys think that he'd be successful as an NBA head coach? Give me a yes or a no. What do you guys think about Izzo? All right, so we're going to get into the top 4, starting with Rick Carlisle. So the current Mavs head coach, according to Mark Stein of the New York Times, the Lakers are interested in bringing in Carlisle to lead them. But Carlisle, he just signed an extension, a 1-year extension with the Mavs, and it seems like it's unlikely. But the Lakers have shown interest. So with Carlisle, you have to say this is probably one of the best tacticians, one of the best play diagrammers in the NBA, and especially if you get down to crunch time. So when you get 5 minutes, the final 5 minutes of games, that's a coach that you know is going to put you in position to make plays. And that's kind of what I think. His premium is not going to be as a play diagrammer. That's why I don't like the fit with Rick Carlisle. He's a guy, he runs a strict system. He likes veteran players over youth. And with LeBron doesn't run a system. LeBron is the system. So I don't see LeBron and Carlisle in year 1 be able to work out. It takes time to really understand how a system works. So we need a quick fix coach, a motivator, someone who LeBron is just going to run through a wall for. And I don't see Carlisle as that guy. And he's got a great situation in Dallas. He's got Porzingis, he's got Doncic, and he's got a lot of cap space. So moving forward, the Mavs have a promising future. I don't think he's a guy that's going to want to deal with all the hoopla of dealing with the LA media. So I don't see Carlisle as a great fit for the Lakers, even though he is definitely one of the best play tacticians in the NBA. All right, so now we're getting down to the big 3. I think one of these next 3 names will be the next coach of the Lakers. Coming in at number 3, we got Mark Jackson. So Mark Jackson, he's been linked to the Lakers job for quite some time now. You've heard about him mainly because of his ties with LeBron's agency Clutch Sports. And then also Wojnarowski reported that all the way back in 2016, LeBron actually wanted Mark Jackson to replace David Blatt back in Cleveland, but they went with Ty Lue as the compromise. So LeBron James wanted him back then. He's going to probably still want him today. And I like Mark Jackson, honestly. I know he's polarizing, but to me, I find him as an intriguing candidate. I mean, Steve Kerr even credits Mark Jackson with instilling those defensive principles with the Warriors. So if you look at the Warriors, they're thinking, they can score, they can shoot the lights out, but they're also, always tops in the league when it comes to defense. And the Lakers are far from it. So the Lakers, they're 19th in total team defense. Their defensive rating is 108.9. And if he comes in, he instills those same principles, that could go a long way for the Lakers to get back to a championship contender. And, the thing about him, too, is he can go both ways. He's shown he can coach superstars, but he's also shown he can develop young talent. So let's say the Lakers don't get a Kawhi Leonard, a huge free agency signing, or make a big trade. He's shown he can develop our young talent, and I like that. With him, it's really about can he, avoid some of that tension and dysfunction that really plagued his career in Golden State. We know that's why he was, sent packing up in Oakland, because he just couldn't get along with the front office. And you just got to feel for him, man. It can't be easy for him to watch the Warriors win all these championships, considering he was in, when they were a caterpillar. Now they're a butterfly just flying around, holding trophies, win Larry O'Brien's every year. So I think he's hungry. I think he's motivated, and he wants to prove that he is an elite coach. So, how do you guys feel about Mark Jackson? I think it's something to consider. So number 2, how about Jason Kidd? Another former point guard. Jason Kidd, the former Bucks coach, the former Nets coach, the NBA legend. So Adrian Wojnarowski, he reported that Jason Kidd will be among the serious coaching candidates when Luke Walton is dismissed. And you've heard his name, in talks about the Laker head coach for a while too. He's been around for a minute now. And the thing about, some of the pros with Jason Kidd, one, he has experience with not one but 2 franchises, the Nets and the Bucks, 3 playoff appearances, a playoff win. He beat the Raptors when the Nets were a 6 seed, the Raptors were a 3 seed. And then also LeBron James and Jason Kidd, LeBron has the utmost respect for J. Kidd. And they were teammates on the Redeem team. So they were teammates in 2008. And LeBron has been singing Jason Kidd's praises for years now. As an intelligent basketball player, one of the best passers, basketball minds in history. LeBron just straight up gushes over J. Kidd, kind of like Kobe did in that parking lot. If you remember when he's talking to the fan about that Andrew Bynum trade. So Lakers could go with Kidd also. If you're Lonzo Ball, you got to like this name. I mean, Jason Kidd is Lonzo Ball's ceiling, according to most scouts. People even throw around that Lonzo Ball is J. Kidd 2.0. Both pass first, defensive-minded facilitators that, quite frankly, can't shoot that well. So, that's another benefit, especially if you're going to keep him. But the thing about J. Kidd, though, is some of their offense, some of his offense and some, of his tendencies with the Bucks teams was not very good. They were very stagnant, like heavy isolation, bad spacing, and they lost a lot of close games against teams they should have really won. And it can't help that the Bucks have the best record. So you get, Coach Buds takes over the job and the Bucks have the best record, Giannis is going to win the MVP. So that's another thing too, where it's almost the same situation with Mark Jackson, where he's the Warriors and he had that same situation with the Bucks. So how do you guys feel about J. Kidd? Do you guys like him as a head coach? So I personally, I know he's a name. We know the Lakers. We know they love names. They love names more than Hollywood Boulevard, more than the Walk of Fame loves names. And we know also, though, that his tension level, it's something, he just doesn't jive with front offices. But you have to believe that Magic, LeBron, and him could find a way to work it out and see eye to eye. So I'm not totally against J. Kidd. I just not a big fan of his offenses in the past. So that's J. Kidd at number 2. And moving right along to number 1 on the list, let's go to Tyronn Lue. So Tyronn Lue, he's the favorite right now, and in my opinion, for good reason. So I like Ty Lue because there's not really a learning curve. He knows LeBron. He's won championships with LeBron. They're comfortable with each other. LeBron will buy in if Tyronn Lue is the head man. So that's something to consider. And it's also, just look at the minutes. LeBron, he's played 46,235 minutes, 17th all-time, second amongst active players to only Dirk Nowitzki, who's at 51,207. And LeBron, my point is, they've made this investment in LeBron. How many years of his prime does he have left? So you bring in Ty Lue, there is no gelling period, there is no learning curve. They know how each other operates, and they can get right into making a run at the championship. So that's why I like Ty Lue. I know that there's some health issues with Ty Lue, but apparently that's been corrected. He had to take a leave of absence because of chest pains and high blood pressure, and that can be concerning because if the stress of Cleveland was wearing you out, the stress of LA is going to take you to a whole nother level. But apparently he's in good health again and he's ready for the job. And I think Ty Lue I think he wants to take the image out of everyone's mind. When you say Ty Lue Lakers, you think of the step over. You think of that AI step over in 2001. I think Ty Lue wants to replace that image with him being the head coach and getting champagne all over him in a nice suit. So I think Ty Lue definitely wants this job. I think it's the right choice, and I think it makes a lot of sense. So that's at number one, Ty Lue. Let me know what you guys think. Do you want Tyronn Lue as the Lakers head coach? Type Y for yes, type N for no. And before we go, let me give you a stealth sleeper candidate, and that is Juwan Howard. So Juwan Howard, former Fab Five member, he's been cutting his teeth as an assistant for years now. He was in Miami. He understands LeBron. He's been angling for this job. So do not be surprised if you hear Juwan Howard's name trickle into this conversation in the coming weeks. So there you have it, folks. The drought will end next year. The right coach is going to be hired. I know that this is not a great time. You want to be in the playoffs. But, folks, this has been NBA Now. My name is Doug McCain. Remember, go follow me at Doug_McCain on Twitter. That's at Doug_McCain. I want to hear you in the comments. I want to see who you guys want to see as the head coach. But this is Doug McCain signing out for Chat Sports.